Most Etsy sellers are focused on the wrong stuff. I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean that after helping over 5,800 Etsy sellers and growing my own shop past $1.7 million in revenue and $1 million in profit, there are 13 questions that really separate the shops that do like $200 a month from the shops that can do $20,000 a month. And these questions reveal a lot about what you need to be successful. Let's start with one that pretty much every seller has when they start or before they start. And this is, how long did it take you to get your first sale? This is different for everyone, and it all depends on one thing. If you start by guessing or if you start with strategy. If you start with strategy, you should get your first sale, I would say, within a couple of weeks. I put zero thought into my Etsy shop when I started. I threw up one product, couple words. I treated it like Craigslist, and it took 2 months for it to sell. In hindsight, I'm shocked it ever sold. If you launch with strategy, you're creating optimized listings that have long tail keywords and there's product market fit. Well, then I would expect you to get your first sale within your first, I would say 2 weeks would be ideal and normal. Now, when that first sale comes, most shops kind of get stuck. And the second question that we see a lot of is, how many listings do I need to start getting consistent traffic? This is a big one. It's not about having a specific number of listings. It's not quantity. It is quality. It really is quality. And I have a video on my YouTube channel where I'm interviewing one of our students who had less than 30 listings making over $20,000 a month. I've also had digital sellers with less than 100 listings making over $100,000 per month. So it's not a number of listings. And I can't emphasize that enough. It is quality over quantity. Now, the thing is, those sellers, that print-on-demand seller with less than 30 listings, the digital with less than 100, those are not their first 30 listings that they ever made or their first 100 listings that they ever made. They definitely went through creating more and then removing the bad ones. So keep that in mind. It's going to be repetition in the beginning, but you want to be rotating out the bad ones as you're adding good ones. And most people don't do that. You're probably going to need to create and go through the process and the reps of creating 50 to 100 listings, but they're not the same listings that you started with. You're rotating out bad ones. So now your listings are up. You've been putting in the reps, but maybe you might not realize that your pricing is killing your shop and you don't even know it. So this third question I see a lot of is, what pricing strategy should I use to actually make a profit? Number one, it is illegal to have a discount on your shop 100% of the time. That is against the FTC rules, so keep that in mind. You cannot have a discount permanently in your shop for the entire lifespan your shop is around, okay? You have to treat discounts as having an intention and a purpose in a period of time. Pricing to make a profit. People come out, they launch a shop, and their goal is, I want to price for profit right away. I think one of the biggest things to remember is, hey, if you don't have any orders, if you don't have any sales, you don't really have a business. When you are a brand new shop, your number one focus should not be make a profit, pay my bills with this shop. Your number one focus should be, hey, get customer feedback, acquire some customers, establish product market fit, build up some social proof. And it's kind of like the price of entry. The goal should be, I want to get in the game. I want to establish some social proof, some credibility. In order to ever become profitable, you have to acquire some customers first. Now, even if you have the right pricing strategies, it doesn't really help if the algorithm has no idea who to show your shop to, who to show your listings to. This next question is, why do some brand new Etsy shops get sales instantly while others get no sales for months? You will always grow faster when you bring in trends outside of Etsy, because that allows you to become a market leader and make what I call a big splash. That's the easiest way to kickstart and jumpstart momentum. Getting sales quickly is important. We want to get your first, I would say, 3,000 to 4,000 orders as quickly as possible. Brand new sellers that get sales quickly, I would say it's a combination of bringing in products that are not copycats of what's already on Etsy, things that are trending outside of Etsy. I would say having the right pricing strategy when they start. And then the third thing is creating optimized listings and not guessing with your SEO, not guessing guessing with your long tail keywords, not guessing with your descriptions, not guessing with your photos. Those three differences, a lot of people don't know how to accomplish those, and that kind of makes them panic, which leads into the next question, and that is, what changed on Etsy recently that has caused sellers' traffic to drop overnight? If you were on Etsy back in July of 2025, you would have seen the updates to titles on Etsy. When I saw this huge shift in how they recommended creating your Etsy listing titles, maximizing your SEO real estate in your titles strategy, to then the short, very, very, very short, condensed, simplified titles, I just foresaw that that could be a huge, huge problem, and it killed people's traffic. It actually hurt people for up to 6 months. I'm still seeing it impact people's traffic. It's sad because Etsy is some people's livelihoods, and with one click, they tanked like all of that. When Etsy rolls out a new update, don't be an early adopter until we have some proof of concept on the outcome. If you are still struggling with your traffic and you have adopted those short titles, let this tell you that is probably a major reason why. Use your SEO real estate, use all the SEO real estate they give you, but make sure it's relevant and clear. Now, if that drop in traffic happened to you, this next question is perfect. My traffic dropped. What do I do? Here's where we can kind of go down a few different rabbit holes. There's so much you can do. There's so much in your control. And so for you to feel like a victim of, oh, Etsy killed my traffic, stop telling yourself that narrative. You're not a victim. You have so much control over this. There's so many actions you can take. First of all, updating your SEO to maximize long tail keywords, not just your title. Your title's 10% of your SEO, but every other place in your listing, your photos, your shop, your sections, everything needs that consistent SEO. And then driving your own traffic, right? Push the truck out of the mud, jumpstart the vehicle, you could say. This is by driving external traffic. Etsy rewards you for that too, by the way, when you use your share and save links. So drive traffic. Facebook is probably the fastest thing you could be doing. Pinterest is the long game, but it still is going to make a big impact. Instagram, if you have a loyal customer base, Instagram can be helpful, but usually if you don't have 1,000 orders in your shop, I'm not recommending that you're using Instagram heavily. If you're going to distill it down to one platform to drive external traffic from, the fastest, Facebook would be it. And a third thing, a little bonus tip, you can actually add a bunch of new listings that have all unique SEO. So no keywords that align with your other listings. These are all new keywords in all new listings. And that just opens up additional streams of traffic that you would have never otherwise been exposed to. The next question is, what is Etsy actually rewarding in the algorithm right now that most people ignore? And there's a few things they reward. Number one, remember driving your own traffic. That is important. They prove that they reward that because they give you that share and save link. You don't have to pay fees on the transactions that come through your own share and save links. The next thing that they reward is high conversion rate. If you have a 1% conversion rate on a listing, Etsy sees this as, all right, for every visitor we send to this listing, 1% will buy it. That's a low percentage. And if your price points are low, that is a super low commission for Etsy. If you have a higher price point and a higher conversion, that means, let's say it was like 8%. Etsy wants that because that's more commission for them. So they're always optimizing for their profitability, which requires your products to sell. So it's kind of like Etsy's thinking, which products should we bet on? Where are we going to put our money? Which is, where are we going to put the visibility? That's essentially what that means. And it's a huge lever that you could be pulling in your shop, because if you go from a 1% conversion rate to a 2% conversion rate, you've just doubled your revenue, and that's without increasing any traffic. So conversion rate is one, review rate is another one. Etsy is focused on the lifetime value of their customer. They want their customers to keep coming back, which means their customers better have a good experience with you, the shop. At least 25% of people should be leaving reviews. Another thing is click-through rate. We want over 50% of people who view your product end up clicking into it. Another thing they look at is order velocity. That's how they spot trends in products that they should start ranking higher. So the number of orders that happen in a short period of time, you want your order velocity to be higher than the current best sellers. Let's focus back on what the top shops do in their first month that most people never try. And this is really the question of, what do successful sellers do in their first 30 days that beginners skip? And this is easily having a wide variety of long tail keywords. So they're showing up under many different sets of search results and removing listings that are not getting traction. That's another big one that successful sellers do in their first 30 days. Now, the next question will change possibly everything about your strategy. And this is, how can I find what best sellers are working in a niche, or how could I find like low competition keywords? This is a big one. Etsy's API is not transparent with traffic details. Etsy does not tell external software and tools what actual search volume is. So when you see estimates of search volume for certain keywords on different keyword research tools, those are all estimates. So that comes from third-party data providers. I always recommend putting yourself in the frame of mind of thinking, what is trending outside of Etsy, since Etsy is one of the last places to get trends? And then what are those keywords of those trending things outside of Etsy, and then bring those to the platform. For example, like Labubus. Remember, you can't use Labubu, of course, in your SEO, but like bunny keychain. Right? That was happening outside of Etsy. That trend made it to Etsy like 5, 6, 7 months later. Keep that in mind, that the keywords you're going to want to be bringing in to your shop are actually trending keywords that are coming from products outside of Etsy. How do you do that? You keep your finger on the pulse. You go to markets, you go to trade shows, you follow designers, you follow trending brands, trend forward brands. You hyper focus on where trends originate, and that's where you're pulling in the keywords. All right, this next question, some people are afraid to hear the answer to. What do I do if I violate Etsy's policies or get suspended? All right. Now, if it's not a true policy violation, we would actually just directly email the CEO for our Etsy seller students that we coach. But if it was a true policy violation, usually they'll have multiple strikes. Violating their creativity standards multiple times repeatedly can get you suspended. There's two types of suspensions. One is where they ban you as a seller forever. One is where they suspend your shop. If one is where they suspend the shop, you can create a different shop. If they suspend you as a seller, the main workaround to that is it would have to technically be a different seller, a different tax ID. Maybe the spouse will open the shop under their name, or maybe they'll establish an LLC. If it was a mistake, we can just reach out to the CEO actually, and things get handled pretty quickly. All right, the next question is, should I move beyond Etsy to my own website, like Shopify or something? And I would say, if you focus on that too soon, you will spread your energy. If you're putting half of your energy to Etsy, half to Shopify, you are diluting your efforts. I would only recommend moving into Shopify or your own website once you have momentum on Etsy. You will establish product market fit and proof of concept with your products so much faster on Etsy than on Shopify. In the beginning, you need fast customer feedback, and we accomplish that so much faster through Etsy because it is a platform with customers already built in. Once you're at about $80,000 on Etsy, then it definitely makes sense to expand onto Shopify, because that is also where the tipping point happens with fees. So it's around $80,000 in revenue is where you'll start to save on some fees by having Shopify open. But before then, I think it can be a huge distraction, and it can actually prevent you from ever getting momentum in your e-commerce business at all when you are focusing on too many platforms without mastering one first. All right, now one level deeper, a question that a lot of people ask is, full-time Etsy sellers here, what does income look like? I will say you can make a full-time income, and I'm talking over $200,000 per year in profit in every category, in digital, in print on demand, handmade, handpicked, sourced, vintage, all of it. You really can. However, strategy is necessary. It's not a product they're selling. It's the strategy they're implementing to sell it with. Full-time income is not tied to a specific type of product. And so if that has been holding you back from getting started, throw that idea out the window. Full-time income depends on you using real business strategies with Etsy. It's like people ask me all the time, can I go full-time selling t-shirts on Etsy? My answer is, it depends. Who are you selling to? Is there product market fit with your aesthetic? Do you have optimized listings? Do you have built-in, baked-in traffic through your SEO? Do you have the right pricing strategies and models around that? So execution is how you will go full-time on Etsy. It's having full strategy, which right priorities at the right time, and a proven strategy. I would say 99.9% of the time, you will not make a full-time income if you're throwing spaghetti at the wall this year on Etsy. It's just That does not happen. You have to approach it with calculated strategy. So absolutely, you can go full-time. We have tons of people going full-time. I had one person go full-time in 4 months. Stephanie, she went full-time in 4 months, retired from teaching and her private dyslexia therapy. I had Rebecca, she went full-time on Etsy after 9 months of art guidance. We have so many examples of people who go full-time, and it does not matter what you sell, and what matters is your execution. Now, the last question is, why do some shops explode while other shops stay stuck for months? And this has a lot to do with speed of taking action. And my fastest growing Etsy sellers that I work with, they're so fast to implement the strategies, because like having the strategies alone, reading something, listening to a course does zero for your shop. It's how fast you implement those strategies. So fast implementation, success loves speed. That is really what makes the difference. It's the strategies and the speed of implementation that will make a shop explode versus kind of piddle along. And now if you're wanting a more in-depth set of steps and tactics, I would love to invite you to my next free class. We'll put a QR code on the screen for you to join. It's a free masterclass, free training where I break down concepts and how to apply them to your shop. So if you want to take your shop to the next level, join one of my free classes, and I look forward to seeing you there.